Esports, you mentioned that earlier. What games do they compete in? Like, what do they do?
What we'll compete in next year is Overwatch, Call of Duty, Smash Brothers, and Rocket League.
If I was to put people together, could I do some sort of fundraiser live stream of competing against the esports team in Call of Duty? Is that a violation? Is that doable? Is that... we need to like do it behind closed doors and then the results later. Like how do I get some of my buddies together to play Call of Duty again?
Let me call Coach Boyd. It's compliance, and we'll figure that one out.
Welcome everyone to Real Talk with My Homies. I'm your host, Jake Wardrop, licensed realtor with Homepage Realty in Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Brian Clinard, athletic director at Spalding University. Brian has dedicated his life, blood, sweat, and probably some tears into college athletics. Brian's story begins, he was an intern at Spalding back in December 2011. He then became the SID, which is the Sports Information Director, in July of 2012. And from there, he was promoted in July of 22 to the active and current athletic director at the university. Brian, how are we today?
Doing great, Jake.
Did we miss anything?
No, you got it all.
We knocked it all?
Timeline was on point.
Yeah, so I appreciate you being here today. You know, we wanted to kind of focus on what is an athletic director, what do they do, but also some things that we've been able to do in the past with NIL, the things that you've been able to do now with NIL and some of the other athletes. But before we get started, Brian, I'm a realtor, so you know, one of the most important parts in every real estate transaction?
No.
The title company.
Got it.
Not only do they handle the title search, but they prepare the deed, handle any legal matters that arise, and help smooth out even the toughest of situations. As a Louisville realtor, I use Limestone Title and Escrow as much as possible, and they have never let me down. With 7 on-staff attorneys and a team of over 40 dedicated title experts, they've got you covered for all your Kentucky and Southern Indiana closings. Their costs are competitive, but their willingness to go above and beyond is priceless. I cannot recommend Limestone Title enough for all of your real estate closings. Follow them on all their socials at Limestone Title Louisville. Yes, that was a paid read, but I would also do that read for free. Limestone is amazing, and I cannot speak highly enough of them. So if and when you buy a house, use Limestone.
Got it.
All right, let's kind of break the ice a little bit. What is your go-to gas station snack and drink?
Man, I'm not a big gas station snacker. It's a rare occasion that I just roll in the gas station and pick something up. If it is, it's usually on a road trip. I think I'm more notorious for being a gas station snack stealer.
Yeah. What's the best snack to steal then?
Oh man, the sour.
Not from the store. Let's preface. Not from the store.
Not from the store. No,
from an individual.
From the cup holder or my spouse or the kids.
Yeah.
You know, not from the store. Probably the Trolley sour gummy worms.
Yeah, those are a good one.
I'm notorious for just let me get one.
Yeah.
And then
let me get 2.
Pretty much 3/4 of the bag.
Yeah. They've got a fruit punch one now.
Ooh.
Okay. I have kids. It's okay. I'm allowed to buy them. And I'm an adult. But they have the little like fruit punch worms now, and they're just too good. So for me, the drink of choice is always, and I said this to George, and he made fun of me on another episode, is the firecracker popsicle. They make a slushie of that flavor.
Okay.
You can only get it at Thornton's, but it's amazing. And that's a go-to. Every time I stop at Thornton's, we're getting that. Honestly, we're probably going to stop at Thornton's all the way.
I think you just found your next sponsor.
All right. What is the weirdest thing you believed as a child?
Oh, God, probably that I could fly.
Yeah? Did you try?
Probably. I remember my dad when I was a little kid, like went skydiving. And he was like, you're not going up in the plane with me. And I'm pretty sure it's because he thought that I would attempt to fly out the door once we got up there.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, that's probably it.
I've got a good one for you. I was led to believe that if we had the dome light on in the car, that mom and dad were going to get arrested and go to jail.
You know, I
think a lot of parents said that.
Yeah.
But I genuinely believed it and like would have freakouts at my sister if she turned it on. Because I didn't want that to happen, obviously.
Exactly.
All right. So we always ask the hard-hitting questions on this. So I have to know, I have a question for you.
All right.
Why on a toaster oven is there a setting of 6?
I don't know.
I don't either. I haven't put it above 3.
Yeah, I've gone 4. I think 4 is where I stop. Anything above that, you're pretty much weaponizing a piece of toast.
It's burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
I don't understand why does a 6 exist?
You know, maybe different strokes for different folks, Jake.
I can't imagine somebody ever wanted something just that black.
Maybe they just like the char, man. You know?
So burnt.
That real crunch. Crunch.
Sometimes 4 burns it too much. And then we're going 5 and 6 above it. All right. Okay, let's get into the real stuff. What is the goal of as an athletic director? What is your over 1,000-foot view goal?
It's always to support our student athletes and our coaches. You know, for me, I view leadership as being a servant leader. So doing anything I can to help support them and reaching their goals, winning championships, success in the classroom, anything and everything. So that's kind of what I show up with a goal to do every day is, you know, how can I support you so you can get to where you want to be?
Mm-hmm. What's one thing that maybe you try to do differently than what other athletic directors do? Not to say that what they're doing is wrong, but just something. You're a small college. You know, you're not Josh Hurd at U of L. You're not Mitch Barnhart at Kentucky. You have a much smaller budget. You have a much smaller university and a much more intimate relationship with a lot of your coaches.
Yeah. You know, it's probably, there's a ton of ADs out there. Everybody does it a different way. Mm-hmm. You know, my thing is always trying to be collaborative. You know, I know at the end of the day, I have to make decisions that only I can make. And I kind of have to steer the ship, but it's taking in input from our coaches, from our student athletes, from our support staff, and, you know, letting them guide the ship alongside me, because at the end of the day, like, I don't do anything. Like, nothing gets accomplished because of me. It's because of the power of the unit and the group as a whole. And to truly know where they want to go and how I can support that, I have to collaborate and listen and use their guidance to help steer it.
Mm-hmm. I think, too, similar to, you know, just like a company in general, you were an intern. I mean, essentially you started fairly towards the bottom. I think that's a fair assumption, fair statement to make. So you've done it all. So when you ask someone to do something, it's not from this high and mighty position. It's like I was there. Like, I was picking up soccer balls off the field at 11:30 at night one night because someone didn't do it. Like, you've been through the trenches as an intern. You know, I'm sure you got 1,000 war stories of things that you're not proud of that you had to do as an intern, but you've done it. You walked the walk and you talked the talk.
Yeah, and you understand the value of every single position from top to bottom. You know, I haven't done it, you know, athletic training, strength and conditioning, coaching. I haven't done those positions. But you understand the value that everybody brings from, you know, a GA, volunteer, intern, or whatnot. Because, I mean, gosh, when I started in 2011 and then into 2012, we didn't have any social media accounts. Like, I started the first social media accounts and at one point was running events by myself, you know. So you understand the impact that everybody makes, regardless of if you're the AD or, you know, a volunteer intern. Yeah.
So with that being said, what kind of support staff do you have, and what types of roles do they take on?
We have an associate AD. So Lisa Bashfries is our associate AD. She's been at Spalding going on 21 years now. She's like our Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
She does everything. And I mean, everything from being our SWA, Title IX coordinator, business manager. So she handles the books and pays the bills, to, more importantly, she's our like department mom. Yeah. You know, she keeps us all right.
There are very few people at the university now that were there when I was there. Yeah. Graduated in 2011, and Miss Lisa, as we called her back then, probably still gets called that today, was by far one of the most impactful people in that athletic department. Yeah. No offense to anyone else in there. They were all great people, but she had a lasting impact and still talk to her to this day.
Yeah. No, she's incredible. I don't know if I'd be here at Spalding right now without Lisa. You know, when I finished up that internship, I applied for the full-time position, and it was Lisa I was following up with over and over again, to the point where I showed up in the office one day. I was like, hey, you haven't answered a couple of my emails. Where are we at?
Yeah.
You know, I think it was that persistence and the relationship I built with her that helped give me the opportunity to get my foot in the door for an interview in the first place.
Who else do you have? You know, Lisa's amazing, but I'm sure
there's
other people.
Oh, we got a ton. We got Coach Boyer. He's our assistant AD, head men's soccer coach, the assistant AD for compliance. Mm-hmm. Caitlin Nemec, head athletic trainer, which they're some of the unsung heroes in all athletics departments. You're talking about they're out there covering practices, games, from the sports medicine side, bringing people back from injuries. Just incredible. Hayden Dunn, head strength and conditioning coach, plays a huge role in the overall performance of our teams. Gunnar Mahoney, our SID, another one. And that's pretty much it for support staff.
Okay. So I know from a overarching theme across the country, we're a lot more centralized with U of L and UK, just using the D1 because that's what ends up on the news.
Yeah.
You really don't know much about You really don't know much about what an AD does outside of hiring and firing coaches. Obviously, firing coaches is one of the toughest things probably anyone could possibly do. But when that happens, a coach leaves, you have to hire somebody. What's kind of one of those number one skill, trait, behavior that you're looking for at the Division III level for a coach?
I look for somebody that's intrinsically motivated. Within college athletics, especially when you're a head coach, so much has to be done, on your own. I can't sit there and I can't travel to recruiting trips with coaches. I can't make recruiting calls. I can't run practice. So you have to have somebody that wants to be the best they possibly can be, and it's something inside them that pushes them to be that way. Because you have to rely on them to do everything they need to do. I mean, being a head coach at any level, college, wherever, is a hard job. It's an incredibly taxing and time-consuming position, too. And you have to have somebody that wants to show up and grind every day to get better without you having to push them. Of course, there's part of that is pushing them and motivating them, but it has to be inside them.
Yeah.
And they have to be a hard worker. I mean, it is not an easy job, and it is a very time demanding. So you got to have somebody that's willing to put in the work.
Yeah. So speaking of motivated, I know one coach specifically because I played with him, Matt Downs, baseball. Incredibly motivated to put a incredible product on the field year in and year out. What's kind of one thing that you think sets him apart, or what can you attribute the baseball success to?
Yeah, a lot of different things. Matt's relentless. He is a relentless competitor. When you talk about work ethic and hard work, he doesn't stop. I mean, you look at last year, right? 2023, go to the NCAA regional. Matt comes back. Most people might take a summer vacation. He doesn't. He's hitting the road. I think they hit the road 6 straight weeks in a row, all over the region, all over the country, recruiting for this incoming class. Had 55 campus visits before August.
Yeah.
Like in that window from the regional. And, I mean, that's what it takes. And you saw it this year, and they repeated this year.
He got a taste of it.
Oh, yeah.
He got a taste of success. Well, he's had success, but you know what I mean.
He's been successful, but
he got a taste of NCAA success, and now he wants more.
And that's what's great about Matt, and that's why I love working with him so much. Is we both hate to lose.
Yeah,
like we lose sleep. When they lose, he loses sleep. When they lose, I lose sleep. And we know that the ultimate goal isn't just making a regional; it's winning the regional, winning a super regional, going to a World Series. And once you get there, you kind of know what it takes to then punch past it.
Yeah. So, do any of the coaches have? Speaking of coaches and contracts, any of the coaches have any you don't have to name names. Do any of them have anything special in their contract, like a rider for a concert venue?
No.
Do they have anything
No.
I gotta have access, a $50 allotment to the cafeteria or something? Do that? Anybody have anything weird in there?
No, they don't. You don't really see that too much of Division III. It's more of a general employment agreement.
Do you know of any good ones that are out there?
Yeah, I remember when I was doing my undergrad at U of L, I did a sport law class, and I had to write a contract, and I was basically playing the role of the coach's agent. And I remember, so we got access to this database where you could see all these different things. Yeah. One of them, and you'll appreciate this from a real estate standpoint, was Rick Neuheisel, who was at Colorado and Washington, I believe UCLA. Mm-hmm. And it might have been Colorado and Washington. He had something built in where the school either paid his mortgage or he got a loan for a mortgage. And I think it was at Washington. It was something to the tune of about $1.5 million. And he got to keep it if he ever left and sold the house.
I've always heard scuttlebutt how the unit, like boosters will lend, air quotes, lend a coach X amount of dollars at a sub-standard rate so they can get into their house right away.
Yeah.
I think, good example, Mark Pope at Kentucky he bought a $6 million house in a gated community, and I'm sure he's got the money. He's super smart, so I'm sure he's been very savvy with his money from his previous jobs. But, somebody like that may be a good candidate for a Joe Kraft loan. Hey, 2% interest, we'll call it a private loan. Just start winning games.
No, the reality of it is, too, on that level, I mean, time is so important. And you're bringing a coach in from a different state, their family, and you got to get them up out of there and in place as fast as you can, because so much rides on that position, especially at a university like Kentucky. Where, basketball is religion.
I was fortunate enough to help one of your soccer assistants get an apartment here locally. So he, I think it was one of Jordan's. Was it one of Jordan? I can't remember.
I think it was one of Adams.
One of Adams. But he texted me and just said, "Hey, heard you're the guy. Need some help. Can you help me out?" So
we appreciate it.
Anything I can do to be a friend of the program.
Yeah.
So we got him set up in an apartment, really in a good little area too. I think he's a young guy who's close to some bars and some restaurants within walking distance. So it was a good fit for him all around. But did a little FaceTime thing and helped him through the interview or the application process. And then he shot me a text, said, "Hey, they gave it to me." I was like, "Awesome, man."
Yeah,
congrats.
That's awesome. That's great. And again, it's good to be able to do that, because making sure the city's a right fit, that helps with bringing a coach in and keeping a coach. They got to be happy where they're at.
All right, coaches. You have a lot of them. How many?
Gosh.
Head coaches.
12 head coaches.
And you just added a couple of new programs, correct?
We're adding 4 new programs.
Okay, which ones?
Esports will come online this year.
Yep.
They'll compete 23-24.
Okay.
We're in the process of hiring head coaches for men's and women's wrestling and men's volleyball. With anticipation for both of them to begin competing in.
Men's volleyball will be an actual NCAA sport, not like a club sport?
No, it's an NCAA-sponsored sport, which, for us bringing it on, it was perfect timing. KSHAA, they're gonna have their first sanctioned state championship in the spring of 25.
Perfect.
And for me as an AD here, as a Kentucky native, Louisville native, it's provided an opportunity for young student athletes here to stay home and compete in the collegiate level.
That head coach of men's volleyball does not just look at the all-state team and just call all of them. That should be his first objective.
I hope so. Yeah.
All right. So with the coaches, let's do a little rapid fire on most likely stuff. All right, most likely to leave your text on red.
Leave me on red. I don't get left on red much, but it's a pretty consistent theme when I do get left on red.
Yeah.
It's after a big game, and, you shoot the text, especially if it's an away game because you're not there. It's, great game. Those get left on red more than anything. I'll use Downs, for example, at the conference tournament. So we win. I was actually there. Had I not been there, definitely would have got left on red, because I think he got 300 texts after they won the championship in 23. So it's like, I don't think it's intentionally getting left on red more than they have a text thread of 300 people.
Oh, geez. All right. Most likely to call you with a solution and not just a problem.
I feel like Coach Boyer. Coach Boyer has been around a while.
Yep.
He typically, if he calls about something, he's got the solution for the problem.
Good.
So I highly appreciate it.
Good. All right. Stranded on Desert Island. Who's the best option to be stuck with?
Man, that's tough.
Most reliable. Most creative, most problem-solving. Don't say Boyer.
I'm going Downs on this one.
All right.
I think we find a way to get off of that island somehow.
Who's most organized?
Coach Witzel, women's lacrosse.
Okay. Who is the life of the party?
Probably Lisa. Not a coach, but she gets it going.
That's a fair. Cause you the most heartache if they left?
Gosh, I'm going to repeat my last answer. Lisa.
Yeah.
And all of our coaches, man, we have a great staff. That's one of the things, I hear horror stories from other ADs and administrators and this and that, and that's not the case down on 4th Street. We have a good group of people, so I'd be heartbroken if any of them left.
All right, Open Doors. So that is an NIL company. I think that's a fair way to describe them. You partnered with them last year. I remember having a conversation with you on the phone about it when you were excited about, you know, the opportunity that it's bringing. You know, what's the 30 seconds on what it is and how has it helped? Have you seen it help student athletes in any way?
So they're an NIL partner. So what they do is each student athlete fills out a profile with them, and by filling out their profile, it opens them up to opportunities through national brands. If, like, let's just say like a Lululemon's looking for somebody, they can contact Open Doors. They can pull their profiles and they fit a certain mold. You know, they have an opportunity to sign with them. The other thing it does is it allows our student athletes to filter any NIL opportunities through Open Doors. And you see it now. Like, there's issues with payment, student athletes getting paid. On the other side, there's issues with student athletes fulfilling the duties of the agreement. What Open Doors does is it kind of removes all that. So they work through Open Doors. The money basically sits in an account. When they show proof of fulfilling the duty, the money's released.
So essentially it's like a little escrow account.
Yeah, it basically is, and it protects the student athlete, and it protects the company they entered into the agreement with.
Yeah, all the stuff that I do with them, I just go straight to the athlete.
Yeah,
I've got, thankfully, a good enough relationship with some of the coaches now that I can just say, hey, what's the phone number for so and so? You know, I may reach out to him, or I'll just go through another player on the team.
Yeah,
you know, a good example is Melanie Frick on the soccer team. Partnered with her, still partnering with her. She's fantastic. And I got her info from Bailey Young, who I partnered with, who graduated a couple of years ago from Spalding and played soccer there as well, and said, hey, I really like the value that having someone on the soccer team brings. I basically put her on Bailey and said, hey, pick your successor. Give me someone, I trust you. Give me someone that you think would be a good fit for what we do. You know how I operate, so you know what would work and what doesn't work. And so, you know, I commend Bailey. She took a lot of time and effort and thought about it and really took it to heart and sent me Melanie's information. And, you know, I told her it had to be somebody local. You know, no offense. I know Bailey has friends in other cities that live in other cities, but for me specifically, what I do with real estate, I can't sell a house in Cincinnati, Ohio. I can't sell a house in Nashville, Indianapolis. It's got to be somebody in Louisville or the surrounding county. So I think that made it easier for her because it eliminated a lot of people already. So why should a student athlete consider Spalding?
Yeah, Spalding's a great school. We have a lot to offer. You know, one is education, and the opportunities that come with a Spalding education, especially if you're looking at a smaller school. A lot of smaller schools are in rural areas. Most people are going to college because they want to get a degree to pursue whatever career they want to pursue as an adult. And, you know, going to Spalding, you come in, small class sizes, 6-week sessions, which allow you to focus on 1 to 2 courses at a time. And you're sitting a mile away from the biggest business district in the state of Kentucky, in the 24th largest state in the country. So there's a ton of opportunity there when you're talking about co-ops, internships, clinicals. No matter what your major is, you know, there's opportunity for you here to get involved and get involved early.
Yeah. Esports, you mentioned that earlier. I've always been curious about esports. What games do they compete in? Like, what do they do? Like, what is it? They playing each other in Madden? Like, what? How does How does it work exactly?
So basically, we have an esports lab on campus. The teams compete from there against schools all over the country. What we'll compete in next year is Overwatch, Call of Duty, Smash Brothers, and Rocket League. So it's games that everybody's familiar with.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's just like you gaming against, you know, somebody online, only it's teams associated with a university.
Yeah. If I was to put people together, could I do some sort of fundraiser live stream of competing against the esports team in Call of Duty? Is that a violation? Is that doable? Do we need to like do it behind closed doors and then the results later? Like how do I get some of my buddies together to play Call of Duty again?
Let me call Coach Boyd. It's compliance, and we'll figure that one out. I'm sure there's some type of fundraiser we could do. We just got to make sure it falls within the rules.
Because I bet there would be people that would watch, and I don't know how you turn it into a fundraiser type of thing. I don't know how you and obviously the proceeds go to the university, but how do you orchestrate that? But I'm in. I'm going ahead and say that. I'm in on that.
Yeah, it's funny when we sent that out, marketing made a post on the Facebook account, and I got more engagement from that, from like people I know and alums that were like, yeah, I might have an extra year of eligibility left. I was like, come on back, get a master's, do a season.
That would be funny. All right, so we're gonna close this out.
Okay.
Just like every real estate transaction, you get a closing gift. So we got you a little something for your time today. While I'm getting it, do you have anything that you want to plug? Any way that somebody can support the university, support you, support the coaches? Floor is yours.
Yeah, what I want is for the city of Louisville to know what Spalding means to this city. When you look around and you look at our roster and what we're made up of, we're a lot of kids from this city, from this region, and we go out and represent the city, on a national stage within our conference and the NCAA tournaments. I just want people to know that, we might not wear it across our chest like the University of Louisville, but we wear it in our hearts.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, we got you this. This is actually, you should feel special. This is the first gift I've paid for. So normally the whole thing is I give a gift of something that is from my house that either someone has given me. It's a re-gift, essentially.
So that Rolex you got a couple Christmases ago.
Yeah, it might be coming back around to somebody.
Good,
yeah,
good.
But I use that.
Okay.
But I use that. So I didn't get a Rolex, just for the record. But this one was worth it because I bought it for myself, so I just bought a second one for you.
Okay.
I did technically spend money on it, but
I appreciate it. Oh, man. And this encompasses, it's funny, we were talking about, right? I think you got them all right here.
Yeah, that was a lot of, here, show the camera so we got a video aspect.
Here.
All of them.
It's all
So I bought one for myself. I scoured the internet for all the logos that I could find that I was confident were Spalding.
Yeah.
There was one that I was a little hesitant. I didn't want to text you because I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I know your time is very valuable. You got 1,000 other things you got to probably do today. So taking the time out to come on here, I truly appreciate it.
I got to take the spouse out to dinner for her birthday today. So that's the most important.
Very important. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Emily.
Yeah. It's a month late, but he won't forget today.
Yeah, it was actually in June. We're just getting around to it now. No,
yeah, well, even better, this will be released in September. So
thank you. Good. So
you're even later.
Be twice as late.
Oh, great. All right. That's all, man. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks.
Appreciate you having me.
Yep.